Hi again. Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you. My name is Kristian, and I'm going to be talking to you for a few moments today about the Holy Grail, how to predict and convert the second purchase. So, if you'll come with me on this journey for just a few moments, this is me. You may have seen cardboard Kristian at the back. I can assure you two things. One, I did not know that was happening. I turned up yesterday and we became face to face with cardboard me. There is nothing more confusing. And also, I can assure you a second thing. I would not wear those jeans in real life, okay? I want you to know that, between us. In 25 minutes, we are going to cover 3 challenges, and it would suck if I just gave you 3 challenges without 3 opportunities. Positive vibes only. There's an opportunity in all of this. I'm going to introduce Spotler's predictive AI model and give you 3 key things for you to think about, because we come to these things for ideas, inspiration, and what we're going to take out with us. First and foremost, who are Spotler? Spotler, we work in 3 territories, 3 sectors, 10 products, and 120 plus developers working on lots of exciting new things. I have met those developers, and they are true developers. I love them greatly, but I get incredibly intimidated talking to them. I can't talk in code. We will help customers in the e-commerce space, in the B2B space, and in government as well. But today, we're going to largely focus on that e-commerce space. And when we talk about this, we're going to be talking about a few tools, and I want to just introduce those quickly now. Spotler Activate. So Spotler Activate is our CDP, web and email personalization tool. What this is going to do is give you the opportunity to gather lots of data in, build insights, and make decisions based on what you find out, on what you know. And then we have Spotler Activate Search. And so we understand that poorly optimized search on site, you're leaving loads of revenue on the table. So if I come in and I misspell, or you know that I would prefer to see a certain type of item, let's get that to the top of the search listings. We have our Mail Plus platform, sending out emails and using that generative AI. Generative AI is a fun thing for us to talk about. You can tell across the audience who feels what about generative AI. Faces drop and faces lift. Mostly faces lifting. This is good news. And we also have SendPro, our transactional email infrastructure. Finally, we have Spotler Message, which is our unified social and chat inbox. Really exciting opportunity there is one-to-one WhatsApp conversation and bulk. Do come over and have a chat with us if you want to talk a little bit more about that. There's lots that we can explore. And finally, Spotler Connect, connecting the tools that you already love with the ones that we know you're going to love in our suite. But let's get on, shall we? We're going to talk about the 3 first purchaser challenges and those 3 promised opportunities. Challenge number 1, acquisition is expensive, super expensive, and it's way more expensive than your growth and retention. PPC naturally is going to get a large amount of your budget, and actually there's an opportunity within that. Get people through the door, but then also use the data that you have already to build a bigger view of those people. So what can we do to have that running in the background? What can we do to have things that enhance the acquisition, get them onto site, but then increase that customer lifetime value? In this acquisition stage, what we're trying to do is move from, we've driven them to the site, we're going to nurture, and we're going to say, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is why you're engaged with us, and then we're going to get to that first conversion. First conversion, good. We like first conversion a lot. Actually, with this first part being so expensive, there's so many things within that channel. You're using those expensive channels to find those customers. What can we do to take them on the further journey with us? Challenge 2, you don't have enough time. Both automated and personalized context experiences at the key buying stage. There just isn't enough time. Acquisition has taken so much budget, so much time, so much energy, so much effort, that actually when it comes to challenge 2, we've got to do something post-purchase. No, we need to get more people in the door. So what can we do in an automated way to be building and enhancing what we know about these people and get them continuing on their journey with us? Do you know enough about your customers to prove a business case to warrant redirecting your budget? Our belief is that you have lots of data already and that we can keep offering you more and more insight on that, so you don't have enough time. Let's talk a little bit about the risk there if there's no post-purchase in play. I'll start with the Spotler benchmark, which is that we're looking to have 23% of those people who've come in through the door, through whatever acquisition channel, repurchase in less than 6 months. So the challenge here is that as we see that declining, so this is a data analysis that we did. If you see in the 2022, on the far left then, nearly forgot my left and, no, on the far right, there we go. Come on now, we know left and right. I can count as well. And then when we head this way, the chart is sliding. So you imagine at the start, you've got that 23%. So you've got that 77% that aren't purchasing again in 6 months. You've paid all that money for one purchase. You've paid for one opportunity to talk to them. But with that 23%, there's enough value being driven that actually you're growing and expanding, and actually the customer lifetime value continues to grow. By the time we're down at the other side, at the 9 and the 11%, then there's obviously big problems. That acquisition is way more expensive, and you're missing out on that opportunity. So let's focus on the final 3 touch points of your customer life cycle. So we have our second purchase, our loyalty, and our retention. So knowing that all of these challenges are there and that all the customer touch points, these 3 are the hardest and so in demand because they are just that beneficial. Imagine that you go to your board or to your director or to whoever and say, we spend this much per getting someone onto the site. They then spend this much. By the time we've taken out profit and getting that in there, we might even be losing money on getting that person to that site. So how are we going to move from stage 1 to stage 2? So it's a high bar for us to be getting that in, but we believe you can. This is the opportunity. The final challenge here that we're going to mention is that if you're already doing a post-purchase journey and automations, you may be wasting budget. Or if you're not wasting budget, it's just very ineffective. I'll give you an example. You do a post-purchase journey that is a catch-all, that we treat everybody exactly the same. You send to me, I've bought something on your site, and you then follow up and say, you would like this. This is a lovely cat bed. It's a lovely cat bed, and we think you would like this lovely cat bed. You already know that I wouldn't have worn those jeans, and I was freaked out by cardboard me. I should tell you one more thing. I don't have a cat. So you've missed your shot in the conversation there. Equally, if you go on to just continue to hit everybody in the same way, that cost that you're doing, you're ineffective, you're blasting all these people with the same message. So what can we do? We're going to lose more margin, and if we then continue to target them, for example, with PPC ads, further and further, and we get more to that horrible use case that I mentioned, where actually by the time they've actually bought something, we're losing money on the customers that we are getting through the door. Another thing you'll be pleased to hear, the answer is not more hours at all. The answer, we believe, is going to be modeling, putting things in place over the top of the data you have of what you know and what you're finding out. So if you've got data, for example, 3 years, 5,000 transactions, these models can be used to get results immediately. And the great thing as well, I talked about the smile and frown on the generative AI mention. The good thing is, when we say AI, sometimes we hear the very, very clever techie people talking about models and training sets and learning and all those things. Actually, this is a tool that can be used by anyone. We love a stat. We're marketeers, we love a stat. So let's talk a little bit about some of the KPIs that we've seen from our customers who are taking the focus just from acquisition into how do we drive the second purchase. Retention increases profitability. Yay, we love this one. So when you have that 5% customer retention, the output is a 25 to 95% profit margin. You're generating more sales without spending more on acquisition. The simple takeaway is that you invest your time optimizing the most profitable buying touch points of your life cycle. You've got your foot in the door in the conversation. You already have a pot that you're filling up with why they should trust you. And now what we can say is that they are likely to buy with you again. So as people are implementing this, there's more profitability. The probability of a sale is higher for existing customers. So take stage one, the acquisition point. Someone's fresh on the site and we're getting them to first purchase. Actually, the likelihood of the sale there is between 5 and 20% of the data from the data that we've seen. As an existing customer, is that 60 to 70%? You're already in conversation. They know something about your brand. So actually, this is a huge, huge opportunity. And so using these predictions, which is going to use probability scores on where they're up to, there's no better action that you can be taking. Existing customers are more likely to try new products and be cross-sold. So 50% will try new products. You have earned my love, you have earned my trust, you've earned my respect. What else is there? I've started on this journey of buying this. I feel like I'm going to go on and complete the set there. And then last one is existing customers show greater loyalty and spend more money per transaction. This is all from data that we've seen within our client base. 31% are going to spend more money and have a higher average order value, and then have a 5 to 10 times higher customer lifetime value. At that point, I would probably say, imagine going to your board, imagine going to your director with those stats. So what are we going to do with it? What are we going to do? I'm going to talk about some predictive models here, and we'd love to have a conversation with you. We're over at G45, just there. Cardboard Kristian will be there. But alternatively, as well, this is just going to get our minds flowing. Let's get some ideas going so that when we go back to the office tomorrow, we're like, yes, these are the things I want to be talking about. So, what can we do? One, do nothing. Keep spending on acquisition. Boo, Kristian, I hear you cry. No, we won't leave it there. Two, set up an automated journey to go to all new customers. This is better than nothing. So instead of just going acquisition, 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 we're like, right, let's do something to be inspiring these people to the second purchase, taking the bigger picture view on these revenue targets. With the model, one of the things that we can do is only target the segments that are most likely to convert again. Get more from what you're spending and target people with exactly the right thing. I always link this back to a conversation. In a conversation, if I'm talking to you one-to-one, as I'm learning new things, if I'm not adapting in that conversation, it's going to be a very poor conversation. If I'm learning and if I'm saying, you have a dog. I'm not sure why I'm so obsessed with animals today. You have a dog. And if I said, yeah, aren't cats great? That's not a very good conversation. But what if actually, when we're talking about these targeting segments, it's a laser-focused conversation. We're aiming our budget in exactly the right pace, and we're talking about exactly the right things. Anybody doing an RFM persona analytics at the moment? Recency, frequency, monetary. When did they spend? How often did they spend? How much did they spend? This is amazing for a historical view. This allows you to look at the data and say, this happened. Okay? And that's brilliant. And we can start to learn and take action based on that. We also allow you to create and map your own customer life cycle. So you can have your stages set up. In this example, you've got the orientation, they're learning, comparison, they're weighing you up against the market, the decision, which way am I going to go, and into purchase. But you can set up your stages. And the great thing about this is, putting it into a CDP, is that you're tying this back to an individual address. You're tying this back so that it's a conversation with me or with your other recipients. It's similar to GA4. Again, you can always tell the reaction when I say GA. We've got some data friends in here. That's a lovely thing. But it's not going to be put through in the same way. It won't be aggregated in that way. It's directly tied. You can build your audiences that way. And what we're doing is now going to layer on top of these two useful types of analytics, a set of predictive AI models with smart segments. And here is I wish I could have some kind of trumpet. I wish I was better at music to give a fanfare for the 5 new Spotler AI prediction models. More to come, but this is the initial ones. Again, get thinking about how this applies to your business. Thinking about if you knew the first to second order conversion likelihood. Who to incentivize, lookalike audiences. We'll talk more about that in a minute. That's a really powerful way for us to be looking at our acquisition channels. Churn prevention and predicted unsubscribe. Each model is then scored and tagged and updated in Spotler Activate, and so you can have that 360-degree view of your contacts. So let's see what that looks like for our customer lifecycle that we mentioned. Very conscious of time and all the lovely slides that marketing have done. I keep making eye contact with marketing and he's like, get to the good ones with the illustrations. So let's have a look at this. Stage 1, what's that going to look like if we're driving traffic to site? Lookalike champions. Has anyone experimented with lookalike audiences yet in Google Ads and so forth? What this means is you're going to have this data picture built up in Spotler Activate that says this person did this, they viewed this, they purchased this, they're likely to do this, and then you say, fantastic, Google, go and find me more people like that, please. So you've taken acquisition from a batch and blast, a hit and hope, if you will, through to find me people exactly like this. So again, we're maximizing our budget. I'm giving you lovely things to talk to your board about right now. You go and say, I'm making more efficient decisions with my acquisition budget, I'm learning more, and I'm making more money. We also can put the models in for when we're predicted to unsubscribe. Will it convert if retargeted? Will they second purchase? Will they convert if we discount? And will reconvert if incentivized? I'm sure we've all been on journeys with e-commerce brands where you can tell exactly the point of the life cycle you're at, because it's just running. Oh, here comes my 10% discount, here comes my 30%. If I hold on ever so slightly longer, I might get to my 40% and free delivery, and they'll hand deliver it and pay for my Ubers for a year. I haven't seen that one yet, but it could happen, who knows? Let's talk a little bit about the first model in the few minutes that we've got left together. First to second order conversion is going to evaluate new customers for their potential to repurchase and look at those valuable and loyal customers after their first purchase. So it's going to analyze what they purchased, how they interacted with your website, fit them into a demographic group, look at comparison, inference, and probability calculation to give you purchase probability and lifetime score. All the hard work's done for you in the background. So you could just have a standard journey that runs like this, or we can go to prediction. These are the people that will second purchase. These are the people that give us that hero status with our teams, with our board, because we know we're using the resource in the very, very best way. We can then go further with that. We can go into, we know who the second purchase and actually purchase, then we can go again on that customer lifetime value. Who's going to repeat? Who can we upsell? Who can we cross-sell? And then again, go into that one-to-one personalized route. Obviously, due to the depth of data inputs we use, the models are really accurate when you've got 2 to 3 years of data. We've all got lots of data. The real question is, what are we going to do with it? So what we want to do is to give an actionable, templated smart segment and journey that any platform user can use. So again, this isn't just for your developers, this is for everyone. The key attribute, again, of this AI-driven, templated approach is that it's actionable for any skill level. So here's a couple of examples as we whiz through the last few minutes. These are 2 segments created. This customer is very, very lucky. They have a much higher audience in their very high likely and high likelihood to second purchase in 30 days. You imagine if you can get that bucket and say, I know exactly how to apply my creativity to those group of people. And again, with this conversation around AI, generative AI, what I truly believe is that it is a launch pad for creativity. It's something that can inspire creativity, not something that replaces creativity. That would be rubbish. But there is loads that we can learn from that. Also, it's not just working in what it thinks it knows, it's actually going to apply what has happened and give you predictive models from there. So analysis of the predictions versus reality, so that you can start to tweak what you're doing, what you're running through the journeys, and take the next best actions. And again, it's really easy to generate those your own smart segments. So you don't just have to rely on the tools. Again, getting into that mindset of, I know my customers, the tool has told me this, where do the two meet? So here's an example of a 3-stage email journey with upsell recommendations. So this is using contacts that are predicted to second purchase within 30 days with their predicted best category. We're going to get to 2 case studies in a minute, because I know we all love a case study. The crucial bit of this differentiation, of the difference between the two, is that the starting audience now becomes a smart segment. So not just everyone, it's a targeted smart segment to launch from. Let's have a little look at Globus. Globus, this is my favorite description and the bit of the talk I was most excited about, because I get to say this sentence. Globus is a German store. It's a very successful European cross between Selfridges and B&Q. I hope you don't get too distracted thinking what Selfridges and B&Q combined will look like as I go through the next slides. They sell high-end clothing. You always know it's high-end. Beck's representing, lovely homeware, and wine. And this is where our case study focuses today. The challenge was this: declining second purchase rate. Spend a fortune getting someone on to the site. And then they never come back. They never do anything else. And actually, the bottle of wine, the 2 bottles of wine, that didn't tip you into profit with that one. They got low revenue from this category, even though it should have been generating more. So what we did, we used the predicted second purchase within 90 days for this one. So the people that we say, the model says these people are going to purchase in the next 90 days, and product category customer lifetime value for the next best offer. So what should we put in front of them? Personalized email was used heavily, so again, that conversation carries on. If I am only looking at rosé wine and you only show me red wine, potentially not it. Or maybe we all just love all wine. The website is then personalized, so again, you're getting this journey that follows them around. Your adverts, your website, your email, everything is consistent messaging. And what happened? 13% of the new customers targeted generated 80% of the online sales. The results were amazing. Let's talk very briefly about the predicted retargeting and lookalikes. I've mentioned there, find out who these people are. In your CDP, we can help you to show, find these people, understand what they're doing, and tell Google, find me more people like this. Instead of doing batch and blast, go after those targeted segments. You can identify the profiles of people who closely resemble that of existing high-value customers. So, as we look at the dynamic predictions on contact profiles, we're going to tag everybody up and put a persona value so they can be used across different streams and automations. They don't just have to live in one place. Again, these top customers, creating a lookalike segment in audience, and the average customer lifetime value is this. Again, you're constantly getting feedback about where people are on the journey. And then each contact record is going to show you their own historic and predictive values and the various probabilities from the models for 30, 60, 90-day repurchase. We're going to hand it over, and we're going to have loads of good new leads. We're going to have invested our acquisition budget better, and we're going to have absolute confidence in the next stages of our customer life cycle. Let's have one more case study. Atelier Goldner, high-end fashion targeted at the over 60s market. They needed a significant reduction in online ad costs and print marketing resources. I bet you've all had that conversation before. And they had a challenge with declining first to second purchase conversion. They were averaging 26 campaigns a year. They're using predicted smart segments, retargeting those customers with a high customer lifetime value to ensure turnover remains the same. And what happened? Campaign reduced, turnover remained the same, and increasing their margin by a 7-digit figure. So again, this reduction in sending things out does not equal reduction in turnover or profit. as I wrap up, conscious I have mere seconds left. I've made eye contact with my friend at the back, and I think she's just about to break into dance. Shut up, Kristian. But I won't. I've got wonderful things to talk about in this 1 minute I have left. Predictive AI is the most efficient post-purchase tactics by far. Benchmark of new customers who buy 2+ things, remember that at 23%. We're looking for that 23% number for the people who go on to purchase a second item. You can reduce the retargeting cost by up to 40% and reduce the acquisition cost by up to 40%. Take these stats to your board, they're going to love it. The faster the second purchase, the more follow-up purchases that will follow. The faster the second purchase, the more follow-up revenue. These are all things that we've seen time and time again with these models. And the same is true for repurchase rate. At its core, using these AI segments is going to differentiate you. It's going to, the resources saved allow your team to stay creative, zoom out of money for just one moment and have that one. We've got these automated things running in the background so we can all remember why we got into marketing, to create things, to connect with people, to tell stories. AI adds to that, it doesn't take away from it. I am wrapping up now. I'm not making eye contact in case the dance has started. But I've so loved talking to you guys. Thank you so much. Cardboard Kristian and I are going to be over at G45, nodding at marketing. Yes, good. I'm going to be at G45. We'd love to talk to you more about these models. We believe that acquisition is an insanely expensive channel. We can help you make the most of that, and we believe that we can help you convert those second purchases. The board even guarantees it, second purchase guaranteed. I'd love to have a chat. Thank you so much for listening. See you soon.